We're just going to. All right, that's going. All right. So, let's see. We're going to dive right into this real quick. I'm going to just give a little bit of an intro, and we'll see where it kind of goes. Okay. All righty. Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host, Keegan. And this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And today we have a very special guest, and her name is Manami Yamomoto. So she is awesome because she has founded something, and it's called the Blue Humming Therapy. Is that correct? And what have you done? No, hang on. Let me actually restart all of this. This is absolutely not good on my end. Because I can't hear you anymore. I can't hear anything.
Me? Can you hear me?
There you are. You popped in for a second. Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. Hang on. We're going to stop this one. And. Hmm, 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 hmm. So. Why is that? Okay. So, anyways, we're going to run with it. So I'm going to restart. But Manami, real quick, do you have any questions before we get really started?
No, yeah, I'm okay now.
Okay. So I had my script pulled up over here for everything, and then it does not work. So, all right. And there we go. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. So sorry about this again.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's Riverside is usually really great, but they've had hiccups before, so it's one of those things. We're going to just run with it, and there's a reason why post production, such as editing, is a thing, right? All right. All right. Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity, your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And today we have a very special guest. Let's welcome Manami Yamamoto. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist and founder of Blue Humming Therapy, where the focus is on the inner nurturing parent, which is a transformative mental health framework that promotes compassion over criticism. So, how are you doing today, ma'am?
Me.
Awesome. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What made you want to start something called Blue Humming Therapy? Is what's so special about it?
Blue Having Therapy is a non-profit organization, and we have been providing psychotherapy, psychoeducation, and then mental health consultation to very diverse clients in the communities, especially like underserved communities.
Oh,
So, yes,
that's awesome. I saw that you were also part of the, I think it was the Nichi Bay. Was that correct?
yes. So Nichibei Care is also a non-profit organization. It's the Japanese and the Japanese American professionals get together and then provide a support to clients in the community.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from, and what made you you?
I was originally born in Japan, then raised in Japan, and then when I was a teenager, so I had like some like facing some like mental health difficulties. So I lost
Mhm,
some few of my important people in my life
mhm,
at 15, and I was looking for some mental health support at the time, but in many Asian countries, so we don't have a lot of mental health support system,
mhm,
or like it's very taboo to access to mental health support. So my journey started beginning from there. Then so I started seeking. Is there any place like I can seek like a mental health support, or is there any countries providing mental health support? And I was
Mhm.
watching like Hollywood movie, like some therapist talking with the patient or clients, and then so I
Mhm.
never saw that kind of scene in Japan. So I decided to come to the US when I was 19, and then
Ah,
start studying psychology and mental health.
okay. Wow, that is quite the journey. And I've always wanted to go to Japan myself, but it's just not been in the cards for me. So it's super awesome that you came over here and you were able to actually find some help with the mental health stuff, right?
Yes, it was a very surprising. It was just a day one, so I had an orientation at the college, and then, the people talk about like we can meet the a school counselor or
Hmm.
yeah, career counselor at the school. So they are very open to talk about the mental health. So it was pretty surprising for me at the time.
Totally way different than what you were used to, huh? And so whenever you think back to what you were used to, do you think that you could handle it nowadays if you were thrown right back into it?
Still hard, so
Mhm.
we needed some mental health support in a different way. I don't think, we could like access to the mental health support like,
Mm.
we have in this country, but so still people need to get some mental health support in their way or a different way.
Mhm.
So yeah, I pretty appreciate any type of mental health support.
Ah, cool. And so, whenever you decided to start your mental health journey and you were right into college and everyone started to just treat you better? Is that a better way to, uh, say it? You were treated decent?
Learn some people are open to talk about the mental health, especially feelings,
Mhm.
because in many like Asian cultures we are not allowed to express or like share our own feeling because it's kind of against to cultural value, like showing the weakness when we
Mhm.
talk about the feelings. So yes, it was kind of surprise for me, like people are open to talk about the feelings. And then, so it was really helpful for me. Okay, I can still express my feelings.
Okay. So, whenever you first could express your feelings, what was the one that you felt most, like, excited to really express?
Yes, so this is kind of like a relate with my occupation right now because not just the talk therapy. So I provide
Mm.
expressive art therapy. It's non-verbal and
Mhm.
traditional approach. And then, so first, like people ask me about like how you feel, and I, didn't feel comfortable to share my feelings with
Uh-huh.
words because I didn't grow up like that. So I
Mhm.
found the way more non-verbal and then expressing my feelings through art and
Mhm.
it was pretty helpful for me. So I still have a way to express my feelings, but I don't need to express my feeling with words because it was too intense and against to my culture. So that was an
Mm.
amazing time. So I found a way to express my feeling in a safe way.
Okay. And what safe way was that?
Because speaking the emotion is very intense for many people, for many
Mhm.
so that's why like art therapy is like we don't need to speak, our feelings, but still
Mhm.
we express the feelings or we can heal our feelings through the art.
Uh-huh.
So that's more like an emotional safe way to express the feelings.
Okay. And so is that what blue humming therapy is all about?
We provide expressive therapy or somatic therapy
Ooh.
different type of non-traditional, non-verbal type of therapy.
Mhm.
And I think these things are really helpful the communities, especially they don't get used to receive the mental health support, or
Mhm.
there are still strong stigma to access to mental health. So I
Mhm.
found that that is very helpful for those communities.
Okay. Cool. And so have you been able to really take all of this and bring it back home and incorporate it to where people are getting a lot of help?
But there is a one way, but also sometimes like some cultures, some countries
Mhm.
need more community mental health support, so need to develop more mental health friendly environment.
Ah. So
So mhm.
so you're saying we need to change the environment and parts of the way everyone views it before we can make a real big impact, huh?
So we need two different support. So one is
Okay.
so we support like individually, like through the some different type of approaches. But the
Mhm.
other one is because we get a lot of influence from our environment, like a group or communities or society.
Uh-huh.
So we also need to improve that environment to make sure like an individual feels safe to belong to the community and then live their life in. So two different wheels, so we need to take care of like when we think about somebody's mental health.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you think that we can improve those areas? What do you think is something that can be done by an everyday person?
So we need a lot of collaboration and connection with the different type of supporters. So we
Mhm.
call it like allies. So not just a professional mental health professional, maybe educator or community supporter, the
Mhm.
parents live in there. So we need a lot of collaboration in there. And then same time, so we have a very traditional mental health support system in the
Mhm.
US, but some country don't really accept that kind of mental health support system because it's really against their culture. So
Mm.
that leads me to think about how like I can still support those communities to grow their like a true well-being
Mhm.
even they don't have that kind of traditional support.
Okay. So whenever we're talking about non-traditional, traditional support, does that come in the form of just being a good friend to someone?
I think it's more like people start thinking about what is the true well-being. So
Mm.
the treatment, we don't get the like mental health treatment or medical treatments, but how like people can think about their wellness in a daily basis,
Mhm.
or like nurturing themselves, or like in taking care of themselves. So how they can grow their like true well-being inside, even they don't get the treatment.
Ah, okay. And how do you suggest someone do that?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, and then the one important thing is we should increase the awareness.
Mm.
So what make us, feel better? What is helpful for us? So that kind of like, self-talk and
Mhm.
then increasing the awareness is so key. And then in order to do that, so I really emphasize psychoeducation
Oh, okay.
because people are very afraid to receive mental health support like a psychotherapy. But the education is a little safer for them,
Mhm.
and they start learning about themselves, and then eventually they start thinking about, so what is my true well-being? So that's
Mm.
like a psychoeducation.
Okay. So having people focus on their true well-being and expanding one's mind on what that could be would really help everyone else uh pick each other up a little bit more, huh?
Yes. So they start thinking about, so what is the well-being, and then what make us feel better?
Mhm.
Because people usually don't really think that. Yeah, people try to seek the support from the outside, from professional, from medical, but
Mhm.
they Even like, they don't think about what is really helpful for me, what is really healing for me. So people don't have that kind of question.
Okay. So, what are, let's say, three questions that someone could ask themselves to find out what their true well being should be like?
That's three questions. I think the first thing is the what makes the thing help me to feel better.
Okay.
So because that question, stops you to think about what is really helpful for my mental health. And
Hmm.
then so second questions, what kind of feeling I have, how I am feeling now.
Mm,
People are feeling, but people don't aware what they are feeling.
yeah. I'm guilty of that. I,
You do?
yeah, I've been there, done that. I had to get a little feelings wheel and be able to say, okay, this is the feeling that I'm feeling, because I didn't know what some of them were. You know.
To acknowledge the feeling, what you are feeling right now.
Hmm.
And the last one is what you are thinking. So many people don't aware their thinking process.
Hmm.
So some people don't realize they have a like a negative self-talk all the time,
Hmm.
and people feel so stressed because of aware of that. So
Hmm.
I really want everybody to think what kind of like a thought process, thinking process you have, and
Hmm.
what kind of like self-talk you have. So that's a last awareness.
Okay. So that self-talk sounds really important though, because I know I have really, really bad self-talk sometimes. I've gotten better at it, but it can be one of those things that will really wear me down. Um, and do you think that someone's self-talk comes from their environment?
Anytime it's coming from like a past generation or parents or their experience. So when people have that, negative self-talk, people kind of criticize and blame themselves. And I usually tell them, maybe it's coming from your experience or your relationship with somebody.
Mhm.
So instead of like criticizing or blaming themselves, like it's kind of aware you have that thought process, develop the thought process for some reason. But
Mm.
instead of criticizing, having more compassion and understanding, so why you have that thought process. So that's called nurturing. So you have a compassion and
Mm.
understanding, what you have. And then so we try to change that, step by step.
Okay. So how do you think that we can actually change that inner voice?
So change is hard. As people want to change, but people, don't want to change because it's stressful. But
Mhm.
because of that self-talk, so people realize, oh, I feel so stressed. I feel so down.
Mhm.
So that's the sign your mind and the body is telling you. Maybe that self-talk is not helping me. So kind of like I try to help the people. So what make you feel better? So it's coming back to the, our, talk at the beginning. So what make you feel better? What
Mhm.
make you feel confident? What make you
Mm.
feel to be loved?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so whenever people can start to answer those questions, and their inner talk can change too, huh?
This is a really challenging sometimes. So that's why like, people need a supporter. Can be professional, can be friends, can be communities.
Mhm.
But interacting with those people, then kind of like start modifying the negative self-talk, and then growing more like a nurturing, loving, and compassionate self-talk.
Ah, okay. So, real quick, here's a question. If you're kind of hard on yourself and you have a lot of bad inner self talk, and then someone tries to give you good talk from the outside, isn't that kind of hard to accept the good talk?
That's jumping a lot, you know. Talking to somebody is really like, jumping too much. So maybe
Mhm.
start point is like realize how you feel. Again,
Mhm.
like because of that self-talk, you feel so stressed, you don't feel good, right?
Mhm.
So that's the first step.
Yeah.
Then you kind of try like how you can change the self-talk. Sometimes like a non-verbal therapy, like art therapy, like
Mhm.
kind of helping you to process that unconscious feelings. So
Mm.
through those works, the people can realize, oh, I might have a negative self-talk, or I might stress myself. Right. Then eventually start talking to the outside people.
Mhm.
You need to, select the people who you're talking to at the beginning, because you can't randomly talk to everybody. You need to feel safe to talk, right? So
Mhm.
you need to select the people you talk, you know. Eventually, so you kind of train to talk yourself with, other people.
Mhm.
Then that will extend to interact with more people, or with your community, or with your society.
Okay. And what are some of the better things that come out of changing someone's own inner talk?
So when people have the different talk inside, it shows to the outside as well. So you feel maybe like you seem more relaxed or confident, and that your internal world is more peaceful as well.
Mm.
Off anymore. I feel good. I feel relaxed. So yeah, your internal world is different as well. So
Okay.
you can see the difference inside and outside.
And if the inside changes, that'll change your outside too, huh?
Your energy, like expressing different energy, right?
Mhm.
Like you feel more like confident, you feel more relaxed, you feel
Mhm.
more appreciate. So yeah, I mean the your mind and body is connected. So
Mhm.
once the inside is changed, it shows to the outside naturally.
Mm. And are there ways that someone can change their outer self to help calm their inner voice?
Good question. And then I think sometimes people can receive like some influence from the outside, but I usually encourage to be aware of the internal talk first.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
because
that internal talk is one of those things that how do you get out of the loop of always telling yourself bad things?
like you need to check how you feel. When you feel stress, it
Mhm.
might be coming from your negative self-talk. But you really need to realize, you really need to accept, oh, I don't feel good.
Mm.
Oh, I don't love myself. And
Mhm.
that part is a little challenging. So that's why, like, the people see like a therapist, like kind of like a try to acknowledge or be aware. Okay, so that talk, make us feeling bad.
Mhm. And whenever, the inner talk starts whenever, um let's see, let me back it up. I was about to say, when did you realize that your inner talk was really, really, really bad?
I think you start seeing the sign. You feel down, or you might have some psychological symptoms,
Mhm.
or you kind of like see the world very, very negative. You
Mhm.
feel anxious.
And that's not just if you wake up and it's just a bad day. You're saying if it's like a lot of that time after time after time, day after day after day, right?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? You can? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Oh. Uh, I'm so sorry. Um. Well.
Irritation sometimes.
Yeah. What was that last thing that you said? I did not hear that last like 2 seconds.
So people are feeling like a very bad many days, or people feel anxious.
Mm.
That's a sign. So maybe something happened inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that negative self-talk, or maybe you criticizing yourself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And,
So that's the sign you want to be aware.
okay. And how does someone stop the criticizing? Because isn't criticizing just trying to make someone better than they already are?
So people have cognitive distortion. So people
Mm.
believe we need to pressure ourselves to be perfect or to be better, to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Actually, that just the pressure you.
It causes more depression.
Stress, anxiety, and people really feel scared
Mm-hmm.
of perfection. So if I don't perform well, I'm not gonna get be better. So that pressure, so we are creating ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I'm kind of encouraging the people to grow more nurturing voice inside.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I try to acknowledge who you are, and then just to support yourself. It
Ah,
takes time, but that's okay. Like a belief process.
okay. And so whenever it takes time, about how long does it take someone to really start to change their inner voice?
It depends. Yeah, some people quickly get the idea. Some people takes a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So I can't really say how long, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody has their own pace to grow the natural voice.
Mm-hmm. And whenever someone's inner voice changes, do you get to see that spark, that little moment of like, oh hey, I spoke to myself better this time.
When people grow the nurturing voice, so I see for example, my clients and communities, so they have more understanding and supportive voice to
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So they don't pressure themselves anymore, so they don't feel that much stress. And
Mm-hmm.
then they are more like a supporting themselves to be grow like who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
then more like a kind of celebrate what you have, what you achieved.
Okay. And so whenever you're watching these people change their inner world, you're watching their whole outer world change too, huh?
Yeah, they're more relaxed to others. Once they have more nurturing, like understanding voice inside of them, they have a very similar view to others.
Mm.
So they are not like criticizing others as well. Like they have more compassion and understanding for others.
Okay.
Yeah. So internal world comes to the outside as well.
Uh, Sweet. So what are some of the things that really make the inner voice so strong?
So I think because we don't really grow that, inner nurturing voice, because usually we hear all of the critical voice from our
Mhm.
parents, from our teachers, from the society, right?
Uh-huh.
So when they have a more like a strong internal nurturing voice, then so they start seeing the world in a in a similar way. So more like supportive, and then loving, like their community,
Mhm.
friends, somebody like they relate to. So I think that kind of feelings, extended to the outside group and the community and the friends, and then people became more supportive. And then so I talk about the environment at the beginning. So those like a nurturing environment we really need in the current world.
Okay. And so that was weird. I heard myself really bad for a second. Um, so whenever we're trying to build up our inner nurturing voice, what is one word we do not use?
Oh, yeah, because in a nurturing voice, so we don't really have that kind of you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
Like all like expression is fine, but
Mhm.
more curious. So why you have that, communication with yourself.
Mm.
So and then like really listen to your strict parent voice as well, because
Oh.
strict parent is usually say you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So yeah, so kind of like a try to assess things. So what kind of voice you're hearing inside.
Ah. Okay. So the strict voice is sitting there trying to keep you safe, and the nurturing voice is trying to help you feel uh, connected, feel whole, right?
So nurturing is more connected to yourself, be authentic, be free, and then actually grow as who you are.
Hmm.
And then people overusing the strict parent, because strict parent voices also good sometimes. It can be more boundary, can be
Mm-hmm.
discipline, can be framework. But
Mm-hmm.
people are overusing the voice and then start pressuring ourselves, criticizing ourselves. So that's why I'm saying like, try to keep the balance.
Mm.
Balance is the key.
Yeah. And I like how you had said that it's more of a framework that needs to be worked on and structured right. And people are overusing it because it really does seem that, well, I mean, I know I'm guilty of it, just a very strict inner voice. And I've worked on trying to make it more nurturing, but it's definitely difficult. It's one of those things that sometimes I feel like the nurturing side is taking things too soft, or that's the thing too. Maybe I just haven't found that balance. And you're saying that the nurturing voice can still be the parenting voice too?
People are really, really afraid to have a nurturing voice because people believe so, the nurturing voice will spoil them or they will fail. It's too easy. But it's different. Nurturing is not the spoiling, it's a different. And
Mm.
then sometimes people don't learn that. What
Mhm.
is the nurturing? So, and people have fear to be nurtured
Mhm.
themselves. So that's why like I kind of try to grow like a real nurturing. And then with that framework, with that discipline, good amount, then so we really keep the balance.
Okay. And do you think that there's like a 70 to 30% balance, a 50 to 50% balance, or is it just a case by case basis?
I think a case by case. There's like we need a strong, like a strict parent voice, especially when we need to protect ourselves, right?
Mm, yeah.
Because a strict parents, a framework to protect you.
Mhm.
But in a daily basis, when you grow who you are, then maybe nurturing, like encouraging voice or
Mhm.
loving voice can be helpful.
Okay. So, what are some of the key phrases that a nurturing voice should have?
Yeah, so nurturing voice can talk anything, but just more understanding, like, accepting.
Okay.
Yeah, so any expression, any feelings, any thought is fine, but
Uh,
more nurturing is curious about why you that way, why you think that way. It's more like a
mm,
understanding process.
okay. So, whenever someone's having a hard time understanding themselves, what would you suggest to them?
Uh,
Ask more questions?
Ask more questions one thing, but I think it's really hard to do that. So sometimes maybe good to talk with like a professional, like a psychotherapist,
Mhm.
or somebody you really trust.
Mhm.
So it's another way. Yeah, so at the beginning, maybe it's might be difficult for everyone to do by themselves, but it's okay to ask for help. And then people are very like love to work with them.
Okay. Real quick, are there any websites that people can find your blue humming therapy stuff at?
The Burhamic therapy and my own personal website as well. So yeah, if people can find us through the website, it would be great. We have a social media as well.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
Um, and let's see. But I had one question and it was a good one, but it went away as soon as I was about to ask it. Oh man. Um, uh, let's see. So for everyone out there, we are on a different studio than we're used to. Um, so Manami, real quick, may I ask, do you think we could see you in the future possibly? If we can get you on the right studio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love to.
Okay, cool. Because I want to make sure to get this properly distributed and everything like that. So this episode is definitely going to it is on YouTube. It is being streamed. It could not be broadcasted to Facebook doing what I did with the studio. So we are right at the end of this episode, unfortunately. But the thing is, it's only part one. So,
Yeah, I love to talk. So yeah.
okay,
And
cool. Um, but Blue Humming Therapy, one more time, what was that website?
other one is my personal website. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my personal website.
Yes, I have a blue humming therapy website, and also I have my personal website.
Oh, okay, okay. So you have both of them. Gotcha.
Yes,
they're they're not one and the same. Got it.
it is a different.
um, and is there any services for therapy that you could recommend for people that are trying but they don't know how to really get started?
Seems like I'm working with many clients and community who are not used to access to mental health support. So if you can access to mental health support, or if you feel comfortable to access to mental health support, like consider working with a psychotherapist or some psychoeducation. But if you don't feel comfortable to access to those, mental health support systems, then start thinking about what is helpful for you to, make you feel good. What is good for your mental health? So that's the first beginning. And then, so we can start from there. So not necessarily you need to jump to the mental health support system right away. It's okay to take a process. That's
All
my message.
it's okay to take process. All right. So we're going to end the stream here. I don't think it's going to keep recording or anything. As far as I know, it's recording to a studio as well. I know it's live streamed. So let me figure out how this studio 100% works. And we will figure it out because I'm really sad that Riverside was not cooperating. It's not the first time, but it's the first time it's been that bad. So,
But thank you
um,
so much for helping me to talk.
of course, of course. I really, really want you to be back on the show. So you have my email. Please, uh, let me see. I'm actually going to send you something real quick. And wait, you have that because you filled it out. So the Calendly, if you go back on there, there should be a spot. coming up soon. Let me double check. Um, let's see. We have one coming up in a few weeks, if that's okay. Try to get you back on, and I don't know what it is with Riverside, but maybe we can get you back on that one.
Yeah, I will ask the customer support as well. So I will, yeah, I'm curious why it's not working with my computer. So I will ask them as well.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so I'm going to hit end stream. I don't know what it's going to do. If it leaves us backstage, cool. If not, it's been an honor and pleasure speaking with you. So I don't know what's going to happen once I press this button. All right.
Let's see.
And everyone out there, thank you for listening to Retrieving Sanity, even though this one was by far the most uh, haphazardly put together studio. I came in for 5 seconds to put everything together, and then it is bad. But with that, be sure to check us out next week. And thank you again. And this was Manami Yamamoto and Blue Humming Therapy. So thank you again. And in stream, let's see what happens. Click.